Settle in, grab your champagne, and prepare to enter a world of romantic splendor and dazzling excess. Welcome to the Sparkling Diamond, the podcast that's ready to report live from the greatest party on Earth. Welcome to the Moulin Rouge! Moulin Rouge is a jukebox musical written by Australian film director Baz Luhrmann and Australian screenwriter Craig Pearce, with a book by John Logan. Now, based on the 2001 film of the same name, the story is set in Paris during the Belle Epoque, basically an optimistic period of French and European history that began after the end of the Franco-Prussian War of 1871. Now, the story follows Christian, a young composer who falls in love with Satine, a courtesan, otherwise known as a prostitute, and the star of the Moulin Rouge cabaret. Now, in 2016, it was announced that a stage musical was being developed by Australian live entertainment company Global Creatures, which, as we know now, is the same company who helped create King Kong for the stage, and direction by two-time Tony winner Alex Timbers. Now, a workshop then took place in 2017, starring Tony-winning actor Aaron Tveit and stage and television actress Miss Karen Olivo. Now, the workshop took place in New York City. Timing was critical because it was the final opportunity to heavily revise the material before the production moved into its official pre-Broadway tryout in Boston during the summer of 2018. The workshop's main purpose was to perfect the jukebox catalog and ensure the songs seamlessly integrated with the dramatic narrative. This meant experimenting with the placement and arrangement of the mashups, the signature rapid-fire blending of pop songs, and determining which new songs would be added to update the 2001 film's soundtrack. John Logan, book writer, was focused on streamlining the dialogue and pacing, particularly the tragic final act, to make the emotional beats land effectively in a live theater setting. Now, while the workshop mostly dealt with script and music, the 2017 session was crucial for planning the visual design. Because the show would be set in a lavish, immersive, and oversized club environment, the workshop reportedly included early projections of scaled models to visualize the iconic set pieces that would eventually define the Broadway stage, such as the iconic red windmill and the life-sized blue elephant, which would greet guests as they took their seats. Now, the success of the 2017 workshop gave the producers the confidence to move forward with the huge financial investment required for the elaborate Boston and subsequent Broadway productions. Now, Moulin Rouge was scheduled to begin preview performances in June of 2018 at the Emerson Colonial Theater in Boston. However, construction delays in renovating the Emerson resulted in the premiere date being pushed back to July 10th. The cast again starred Aaron Tveit and Olivo as Christian and Satine, alongside Tony-winning actor Danny Burstein, stage and screen actor Tam Mutu, actor and director Sar Naguja, and Tony nominee Robin Herder. Now, the most immediate and successful aspect of the Boston tryout was the sheer visual and environmental design. The creative team completely transformed the Emerson Theater into the legendary Parisian nightclub. The iconic red windmill and the blue elephant were massive fixtures on either side of the stage, and catwalks extended into the theater, seating audience members right inside of the action. The initial wave of audience and critic reactions confirmed that the production's high energy, immersive pre-show experience, and jaw-dropping visual opulence were both hits. Now, the initial running time was lengthy. Logan and Timbers had to work hard to streamline the book, particularly the final tragic act, to ensure the audience maintained an emotional connection amidst the visual noise of the production. Now, the show is known for its constant use of mashed-up pop songs. In Boston, the creative team realized that if they used 3 different pop songs to convey one short emotional beat, the dramatic momentum was completely lost. A key change coming out of Boston involved being more selective about the musical language to allow Christian and Satine's core romance to breathe. In all, guys, the Boston tryout allowed the core cast to develop the chemistry and vocal endurance needed for the show's demanding, high-octane performance schedule. Their performances were universally praised, confirming that the show's leads were ready to carry the show to Broadway. Moulin Rouge was a technical triumph that audiences loved to look at, but it needed significant cuts and refinements to make the story and emotional core as sharp as the scenery. Well, by June of 2019, the famous nightclub raised its glass, opening its doors at Broadway's Al Hirschfeld Theater, where it continues to play today. The choice of venue was crucial, as director Alex Timbers and designer Derek McLean required a space they could completely transform, which meant an entire dramatic overhaul of the theater. Now, the entire venue was converted into the legendary Parisian nightclub. The iconic red curtains, velvet banquets, and dim lighting created an atmosphere of sensual decadence. Now, in order to fully immerse VIP guests, the set broke the traditional proscenium boundary. The famous red windmill and the blue elephant were massive fixtures built into the theater boxes, and extensive catwalks and runways were built, allowing the performers to dance right out over the audience. Now, the show became famous for its pre-show, where the full cast of dancers performed high-energy choreography on the set before the show even officially started, ensuring the audience was fully immersed into the world of the Moulin Rouge. Now, the show's impact on New York audiences was profound, primarily because it delivered on an exhilarating sense of escape and celebration that few other musicals could ever match. Moulin Rouge capitalized on the desire for a complete theatrical experience. Audiences weren't just watching a show, they were attending a lavish, high-octane party. This focuses on maximum sensory input. Loud music, constant dance, and dazzling lights made it a massive hit with both younger audiences and tourists looking for that ultimate Broadway moment. Now, while jukebox musicals often prioritize songs over story, Moulin Rouge successfully elevated the form. By using over 70 different songs ranging from Madonna and Beyoncé to Elton John and Adele, weaving them into complex mashups, the show created a musical language that felt modern, fast-paced, and wildly inventive. Now, getting this gargantuan production from the Boston tryout to its permanent Broadway home, well, that was a significant logistical and creative challenge. The main challenge was physical. Fitting the custom-designed sprawling set into a different New York theater required intense coordination with both union labor and meticulous engineering. The sheer weight and scale of the set pieces was enormous, leading to one of the highest production budgets of the era. Now, following the Boston tryout, the creative team realized the show's incredible spectacle was something overwhelming the story. A major effort was made before the Broadway opening to tighten the book, or the script, and edit the number of songs to ensure that the tragic, emotional core of Satine and Christian's romance didn't get lost in the flurry of pop hits and choreography. Now, fun fact, the show utilizes an estimated 300 plus elaborate costumes, many of which are custom made and adorned with thousands of sequins, crystals, and feathers to maintain this show's opulent visual standard. In a rave review, critic John Simon wrote, "If you like Splash, Moulin Rouge is the show for you. Even more than the Baz Luhrmann movie on which the musical is loosely based, it can hold your wonderment without abate from start to finish. This is a show to make the young feel mature and the old blissfully young again." It was named a critic's pick by the New York Times, with Ben Brantley calling it a cloud-surfing natural high of a production. Mashable's Aaron Stecker stated that this is the best of what a jukebox musical can be. A thrilling burst of color and chorus and nostalgia and bold reimagining. Adam Feldman leaned positive as he called the show an extravagant Broadway megamix, commenting that it looks and feels both expensive. Now, the production would later be nominated for 14 Tony Awards, winning 10, including Best New Musical. By 2021, the first Australian production opened at Melbourne's Regent Theatre, starring Des Flanagan, Alinta Chidsey, Australian actor, both stage and screen, Mr. Simon Burke, and Nigerian-born Australian singer-songwriter Tim O'Matic. Now, Melbourne was chosen as the debut city due to its reputation as Australia's cultural and theatrical capital. The opening was particularly momentous as it happened when Melbourne was emerging from some of the longest and strictest COVID-19 lockdowns in the world. Now, just like on Broadway, the Regent Theatre was transformed into the opulent Parisian nightclub. The audience sat surrounded by the dramatic red velvet high catwalks and the famous oversized stage props, including the most famous red windmill and the blue elephant. Now, the complex puppetry required to move the show's spectacular set pieces and the precise choreography of the ensemble were faithfully recreated, requiring an enormous amount of technical and creative talent from the local Australian crews. Now, the Melbourne run, well, it was a smash hit, running through 2022 before moving on to Sydney and undertaking an extensive national tour. Now, its success solidified Moulin Rouge the musical as a truly global phenomenon, proving that its brand of high-octane spectacle and clever song mashups could captivate audiences anywhere in the world, regardless of local restrictions or delays caused by the pandemic. Now, to continue solidifying the brand, it was crucial to bring this iconic musical next to London, and the creative team looked no further than the Piccadilly Theatre to welcome British audiences to the Moulin Rouge. Now, the transfer of Moulin Rouge to London's West End was an incredibly important moment, not just for the production, but for the UK theatre industry, as it too was recovering from lengthy pandemic closures. The timing made the show a powerful symbol of the West End's resurgence. Following long periods of strict lockdowns and capacity limits, Moulin Rouge itself offered exactly what audiences were craving: a lavish, high-octane celebration and a total escape. The show's atmosphere of decadent revelry was the perfect tonic for the returning theatrical crowds. Now, the production team spared no expense in ensuring the West End version was a precise 100% replication of the Broadway spectacle. The show's design is inseparable from its success, and this commitment to scale was non-negotiable. Like the Al Hirschfeld Theatre in New York, the Piccadilly Theatre underwent a major overhaul. The massive set extensions were installed, including the famous red windmill mounted to the auditorium and the signature blue elephant on the opposite side, making the entire theatre feel like part of the stage. This commitment to visual immersion set a new standard for spectacle in the West End. Now, the complex pop song mashups and Sonia Toby's demanding choreography, including the famous pre-show dance routine, were faithfully taught and executed by both the talented local British and Australian casts. In all, the London run was an immediate box office smash hit and showered with nominations and wins at the Olivier Awards, confirming its status as a major international success. Moulin Rouge the musical has had a powerful and lasting impact since its 2019 Broadway debut. Guys, it didn't just become a hit, it set a new standard for what a blockbuster musical should look and feel like. Moulin Rouge continues to be a massive draw because it perfectly taps into the modern audience's desire for escape, celebration, and sensory immersion. Now, the musical, it's a destination, not just a show. Today's theatergoers, well, they're looking for an event, and the transformation of the auditorium into a dazzling, decadent Parisian nightclub provides that immediate total sensory experience. From the pre-show dance party to the sweeping set pieces, the show offers maximum vibe and a complete break from total reality. Now, the score, well, it's the ultimate party playlist. By blending over 70 popular songs spanning generations from Madonna and Queen to Beyoncé and Katy Perry, the show ensures that almost every audience member will recognize and react to the music. The use of mashups keeps the score feeling cutting edge and ensures that the musical remains relevant without aging, unlike a show based on the music of a single older band. At its core, though, the show celebrates the bohemian ideals of truth, beauty, freedom, and love. For an audience seeking meaningful connection and genuine emotional outlets, the high-stakes tragic romance between Satine and Christian resonates deeply. Just like its opulent and dazzling heart-shaped set, it's a grand spectacle with a beating, vulnerable heart. Moulin Rouge the musical is now a definitive global theatrical franchise, with major productions running and touring across several continents. The highly successful North American tour is continuing its non-stop schedule, playing extended engagements in major US and Canadian cities. If you would like to secure tickets to this amazing production, I will have a link directly in the description below. Finally, guys, the financial and artistic success of Moulin Rouge the musical has changed the calculus for producers considering large-scale Broadway projects. The show proved that audiences will pay premium prices for a production that is truly physically transformative. Before Moulin Rouge, the cost of gutting and redesigning a theater space to build in the windmill, elephant, and catwalks was probably seen as a massive, almost reckless financial risk. Its success, though, demonstrated that this level of spectacle is a powerful long-term revenue driver. The show retired the idea that jukebox musicals are inherently lesser than those with original scores. By using a vast library of pop songs and integrating them with dramatic dexterity, the famous mashups, it showed that the arrangement and integration of familiar music can be a creative genius in itself. This gives producers more confidence in developing new musicals based on existing diverse pop catalogs. Designers now push the envelope further, knowing that audiences respond to a show that breaks the fourth wall. The theatrical atmosphere created by Derek McLane's set and Alex Timber's direction means that the future shows aiming for maximum impact, like the upcoming revivals or new musicals, must now compete with this standard of visual and technical density. Guys, we raise a glass to the Red Windmill, the Blue Elephant, and the dreamers and lovers who brought us this unforgettable spectacle. Thank you, Moulin Rouge, for making Broadway beautiful all over again.